scholars and learners, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, advocates, advertisers, administrators, the most honorable present Prime Minister Dr.R.KModi Modi ji, and doctors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, I heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice action listening with 100% presence and of mind. You are listening the concept of English grammar. I thank God who has given us this opportunity to deliver a very useful speech on the different parts of grammar. Dear friends, we study English grammar in school, in colleges, in university, in competitive classes, and we forget because we do not learn the concept of English grammar. What does the concept convey to us? English grammar is also a test associated with the movements of the celestial bodies. There are two kinds of changes we feel in the nature. One is changeable and second one is unchangeable. Some universal bodies which are changeable expresses that our functional and structural grammar. Unchangeable, stable, permanent, changes in the nature expresses unchangeable, stable, permanent, fixed words in English grammar. These permanent words that we can use in the different ways. Time and again we read, speak, listen, write, learn these words. But every word that we use in English grammar, it has its own importance. What the word we use, when the word we use, where the word we use, how the word we use, why we use the word. These 5 questions raises in our mind while using any word in the sentence. When individually we discuss parts of speech, noun, pronoun, adjective, adverb, conjunction, preposition, article, all these are the form of words. And initially when we start defining it, by the saying that a word, in the definition of noun, we say that a word that expresses the name of person, place and thing is called noun. What is pronoun? A word which we use in place of noun are called pronoun. What is adjective? A word which qualifies noun and pronoun is called an adjective. Means that all the definitions, when we start studying differently, individually, any parts of speech, then we read that word is common. And the concept of all these words is created in our mind. Prepositional word which tells us before the position, means what comes before the position of the word, what is the condition, position, situation of the word in the sentence, we discuss in it. While making different sentences in English, when we individually study different parts of the word in the sentence, in any sentence, we define that a group of words which makes complete meaning and complete sense is called a sentence. On the other hand, how do we define phrase? A group of words which makes incomplete meaning and incomplete sense is called a phrase. A phrase can be compared with a child, and a sentence can be compared with a man. Similarly, we can define the place of phrase is equal to a plant and phrase is equal to a tree. So these are the symbols and perfect noun for these two terms, phrase and sentence. In English we use different type of sentences for understanding. In learning English, while listening, in every module, in one time, our mind speaks maximum 2 to 3 words. In reading, writing and listening, in all these 4 modules, maximum we listen 3 words in listening, 3 words in writing accurately and correctly. So it is the habit of our mind. Our mind is totally channelized by the air stream. The air which we intake from the environment, it depends upon the power of lungs, holding capacity of air, but what's the habit of mind in receiving the energy of the words? In one time, correctly and accurately, it receives only 2 to 2 to 3 words we speak loudly, 2 to 3 words we think loudly, 2 to 3 words we register in our mind loudly, 2 to 3 words we read while reading any newspaper, magazine and any passage. For comprehending any passage for reading, 2 to 3 words at one time we can write correctly. Ultimately, it's the habit of mind. It learns 2 to 3 words in one time. So never think that you are not a good listener and learner. You have to develop it simultaneously and naturally. Today you are listening the concept of noun. Noun we read in English in the basic fundamentals of parts of speech. Noun simply means name. And how do we define noun? The name of any person, place and thing is called noun. Indirectly we can say noun is a name. Everything has name behind it. Anything that we have around us in the form of noun we have. Even God or Lord, who has name behind it, because he comes to this earth in the form of incarnation, and he comes even in the form of physical body. God does exist even without physical body and incarnation also, because in every time, place, action he does exist. But we are to give them name for identifying them, for keeping the identity in our mind, for registering the name of that thing, person, place. We are to provide them name in the form of person. We register the energy of that name in the form of place. We register the energy of that place in the form of name. Anything that we have around us, we register in the mind in the form of energy in our mind. And these are the basic principles or doctrines that can be understood only by doing pranayama, meditation, yoga. These are the things that helps a lot in understanding the concept of language, literature and grammar. While studying literature, for getting the complete information, how do we start searching the information in the passage? Firstly, we have to understand the concept of reading through the mind. If our mind is active, alert in searching the information, then it starts searching by catching numbers, dates in the form of minute, second, hours, days, months, year, means numerical information, and digital information it records in the mind for searching the information. In information technology, which is the most advanced technology today for understanding, for the students, scholars and learners, even for the researchers. How anyone can measure the speed of ray of light, wave of sound, and how anyone can measure the vibrations, but it became possible in the science when man started thinking deeply, intensively, by doing yoga, pranayama, meditation in the presence of nature. Then nature became its workshop. Nature provided opportunities to understand its principles. Dear brother, dear friends, really it is a great action which was started by our scientists, artists, engineers, traders. But we forget that who is the maker of nature? That is Lord or God. We are not to forget Him. We should remember it and never feel back and inferior, and we should save our soul from anger, falsification, false affection, ego, avariciousness, lust, erotic. When we will save and escape our soul from these negativities, then automatically we will get soul power, and then our mind will feel more energetic to provide the service. And it is the principle of learning that we are to be polite, humble, for keeping our mind 100% present sense of mind. Otherwise our mind do not spot our in learning, reading, writing and speaking. This is the one principle or doctrine in study. A student, scholar, learner must be polite first. First, we can take the example of a tree. When tree gets heavy fruits on its branches, then the branch of the tree automatically comes down because of heaviness and try to touch the earth, which is its root. That is a perfect example of humility and humbleness in the nature. If the nature which is directly controlled by God or Lord is so humble and polite, why a man should not be humble and polite? Whether he has become a doctor, engineer, minister, father, mother, any level, any brand, that give him or her different identity. It doesn't matter of worry. If we are in horror, fear, terror, then we feel ego, avariciousness, falsification, and negativity is automatically fearless, horrorless, terrorless, and friendly, familiar. Then automatically our internal organs feel the unaccounted power of God. God or Lord, who He was, who He is and who He will, in past, present and future, He is the same. The word we have with us, but someone may say that if someone is not able to understand the word, if someone is illiterate, handicapped, how he will be able to understand the presence of Lord? No doubt God does exist in the form of ray of light, wave of sound in the form of vibrations. God helps every creature, and plant, trees, flora and fauna. If God can create its presence in the form of different 84 lakh species, then how a handicapped person cannot know the presence of Lord? It is possible. Nothing impossible for the God or Lord. There is no pretext and pretension in remembering the Lord. We must praise the Lord with the heart. We should devote and dedicate towards the Lord or God, who came, who comes, and who will come. in the form of different names as per the varieties, adversities, diverse society at the level of language, literature, caste, color, creed, ritual, tradition, custom, fashion, family. He came, he comes, and he will come. Definitely, if there are so many variations, differentiations, diversities we have in our nation, likely that God has different names, and we believe in the principle of unity in diversity. We have unity in diversity principle, likely that there are many names of the God or Lord, but He is one who has unity, diversity. In the form of Om, He is one. When we repeat, remember, with a true heart and devotion, dedication, then the sound or vibration or ray of light, it comes in our heart in the form of Om. When we listen, speak, read, write, the sound of Om, ray of Om, vibration of Om, our mind starts registering energy, oceanic energy, and our cell starts producing energy in the different organs of our human body. So it is felt and observed only by the doer of Pranayama Yoga, meditation. While doing method of meditation, man feels that his mind starts working, multiplied working of thinking, reading, speaking, listening and writing. And concentration is required. More importantly, so dear brother, sister and friends, when we discuss language and literature, grammar provides its concise, fixed and precise understanding of the words. When we go through any language, we define the language is the expression of our thoughts, not impression. Impression is important than expression. Impression word is the internal, intellectual word that we use for the language. Expression is outer word. Expression is displayed by our actions, external actions. But impression is our internal action of mind while registering energy in the storage of mind, in the storage of memory. But above it, psychologists know this thing, that the spiritual ray of spiritual vibrations, spiritual waves which are inherent, implied, cannot be observed outwardly and inwardly. But while living in this body, the soul can feel. After leaving this world, soul can feel. If our soul is involved and indulged in five elements, it feels only physically, intellectually, emotionally, but spiritual matter is entirely different. Which was experienced by Swami Vivekananda, and he did leave the body as per his desire. Gautam Buddha, who left this world and materialistic world for knowing the intuition and insight, and after enlightened he came back for inventing and innovating a new religion. Similarly happened with Mahavir Swami. In the same stream of social reformist, superb personality Swami Vivekananda, he expressed experiences and experiments with the truth, and he discovered, he went throughout the world for searching the truth. It was the aim of his life. Whether our religion provides the name of God or Lord, but Swami Vivekananda went to the world for forgetting the external name of the Lord, and he felt it in the form of vibration, waves and rays. Even he proved that the presence of Lord, existence of God, we feel in unread, unspoken, unwritten, unlearned form of God, form of word. We feel the presence of energy. Swami Vivekananda strongly emphasized on the presence of energy, and he left the practicing of worshipping idols. When he interviewed inside, when he attached and associated with the knowledge, enlightened, and started feeling energy in the form of air, fire, soil, sky and water. In science we study there are two kinds of energy, kinetic and potential. One energy is permanent energy in the words. Stable form of the word shows that energy is stored in the form of noun or name in the mind. And that one energy which is changeable in the form of potential, that is stored in our muscles, in our mind, in the form of actions. So dear brothers and sisters, friends, It is the experience, and personally you feel that energy neither can be created nor can be destroyed. It is, it has, it was, it will. In the same, dear brother and sisters, scholars, time and again we read the concept of energy, from where our soul gets energy. It is rightly said that soul power, self is required for getting success in the life. But how our soul or our spirit will get energy? Outwardly there are different methods of meditations we have experimented and experienced. But the internal matter of energy is entirely different. That word can be created only by closing our 9 senses. If we are covered with different senses that are explained in the different religious dynasties, in Hindu dynasty it is believed that there are 10 senses we have. If we discuss about 2 eyes, right eye and thank you listeners and learners. So it's the matter of doing Pranayama Meditation. Our present Prime Minister Fr.Dr.RKModi Modi ji also addresses that we are to do yoga, pranayam, meditation daily. This meditation creates energy. The energy which is created by the sun in the universe. Same principle of energy we practiced, we experienced in the cells of our human body. But it can be experienced only having loneliness. When you will go through the literature, you will know these things. How the rising sun creates energy in the world, in the universe. How the setting sun is also creates energy in the universe. Both the positions, rising and setting of the sun, creates energy. The same principle we study in the science. How the sun creates energy in fusion and fission. So likely that it's the human nature. A man can change himself, whether he had so many drawbacks, shortcomings, faults in his character, in his habits, but it needs sequence and steps to improve. It is strongly predicted and stated by Swami Vivekananda. How did he start speaking on energy? Dear brothers, sisters and friends, you know that before watching, our mind starts thinking. Before speaking, our mind starts eyeing. Before doing any action, we start speaking. Means this is the sequence. First come ideas in our mind, then we start watching according to that. So, all over the world, those who are listening, reading, writing, speaking English, how do we start learning the language? It is also a concept of sequence from our idea to our fortune. Sometimes we pretend that I am unfortunate, I am unlucky. Why do we create this thing in our mind? Because we do not the concept of idea. And our present Prime Minister St.Dr. Modi ji, whose role model is Swami Vivekananda, he also addressed and emphasized on this point. How he emphasized? Because one idea. So dear brothers, sisters, we are reminding and remembering the concept of English grammar as per the principle and doctrine of the processing of our mind. Step by step we learn, and there are different words in English grammar. Every word in English grammar has its own importance. Similarly, by the simple words we can interact with others. I see you, and its opposite is you see me. I listen you, its opposite is you listen me. I speak you, you speak me. I read you, you read me. I think you, you think me. So these are the corresponding reverse actions that our mind registers in the form of energy. It's the matter of pranayama, meditation, yoga. If you do daily, then you feel how the word is vibrant. Our present Prime Minister Dr. Narendra Modi ji also addressed local to vocal vibrations and vibrant India. How we can vibration in our youth and youngsters, old aged people. Everyone needs it for healing and recovering. If we have so many diseases in our society, how we can get rid from them? Dear friends, don't mind. It's your spiritual matter. When you will concentrate upon the sound, ray or vibration, then you will feel more energetic, more rejuvenated, and your internal God or Lord, who will help you in knowing the unchangeable, ununderstandable, even beyond to reach, that is in the form of metaphysics. Now question comes, what is metaphysics? Something is implied, hidden, not can be observed with our naked eyes, but that does exist. That is the name of metaphysics. John Donne, in English literature, who belong to metaphysical school, he discusses about metaphysics. So dear brothers and sisters, don't make it big issue if you are married or unmarried. In both the conditions, meditation is required. If someone is married, he also knows how to release the energy. And if someone is unmarried, He knows how to store the energy. But both these positions are required. Meditation. Meditation, method of meditation in all the holy places of our Indian land, whether we worship in the Gurudwara, in the temple, in the mosque, or in any church, then these are the worshipping places. Just these works as a mediation, but the true temple of God, which is made by God or Lord, that is our human body. So it is rightly said that our human body is the temple of God, our heart is the seat of God. Dear friends, brothers and sisters, the presence of Lord in the form of energy, in the form of concentration, association, and this is the principle that is experienced and experimented by our present Prime Minister with the attachment and disattachment theory, with the Fox and defox theory. Association also addressed by our present Prime Minister throughout the world. Because God made two exercises, two actions of our senses. One time, if we close our one sense, it opens. Both closing and opening, these two actions happens in our every sense. So likely that our 9 senses are discussed in our Hindu mythology, Hindu dynasty. But in the holy scripture of Bible, the Bible addresses that these are 5 senses. When we reach in the 6th sense, which is beyond to reach, which is invisible, as per the action of the sense, we say these are one. If we have 2 eyes, it means their action of watching is expressed with one sense. So for understanding the concept of tense, we must understand what's the use of right eye, what's the use of left eye, what's the use of right ear, what's the use of left ear, what's the use of our mouth, our nose. So when we understand, when we try, when we experiment, when we experience, by going in meditation, these 9 senses will provide us the fundamentals of English grammar. Our whole human body is under research while doing meditation. When we meditate, sportsman knows this thing very well. Those who get up early in the morning, between 2 to 5, after relaxing his body and mind, they feel that they have recovered and healed at that time by the peace of mind and tranquility of heart. Externally, from the peace of mind, they feel the presence of Lord or God. And in all the different religions, it is said that Brahm Muhurat, in our Hindu dynasty, the word we use Brahm Muhurt. In Punjabi, people knows this thing that Amrit Vela, and in English, early in the morning time. This is the best time for knowing the concept of grammar. Otherwise, we become only a crammer. We do not become a true learner. And we know only one way of using the word, not multiple ways of using the word. If we want to be the practitioner, exerciser, user of the words, then definitely we are to spend our time with the natural elements of our human body and with the external celestial bodies like the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, the ocean. These are the celestial bodies which is created by the Lord for making us friendly and familiar with them. Then definitely our body will feel the presence of Lord. A number of diseases are automatically removed from body and we get healed. So this was the perfect ecstatic joy which was felt by Swami Vivekananda. Whether he was in his youth, but as per his experiences, he addressed the whole world. Whether there were doctors, ministers, advocates, advertisers, administrators, fathers, mothers, by his energy, by his ray of light, by his waves of sound, by his vibrations, he created upheaval in the religious conference of the America, in the USA. It was the power of vibration, power of energy of the Indian culture. Nanda also challenged and faced a lot of problems, obstacles, hindrances. But he was the true winner. He never felt losing in any case. He always turned himself towards the past, because it is rightly said that our present lies in the past. Our present lies in the history. Our present is the result of our foundations. So never feel that our old aged people, those who live in our family and society, they have become physically weak. No doubt they may be physically weak, handicapped, or they may be weakened by their intellectual power, but they are the best source of storing information, instruction, direction, knowledge for the upliftment and betterment of our society and nation. To be nicer, finer, greater in the eyes of the Lord. It's our prime duty to know the principle of our forefathers, foretellers, forecasters, messengers, freedom fighters. How did they spend their life? What was the aim, objective behind them? It was the unique, incomparable, matchless objective of their life to get the freedom of soul. No doubt they provided us freedom to our India, society, family, personally, professionally, economically, politically. If we got freedom in 1947, but Swami Vivekananda provided the freedom in 1893. In 1893, in 9/11, our present Prime Minister addressed, and he indulged himself in that meeting, in that religious conference, when Swami Vivekananda addressed the words. Swami Vivekananda, who proved it in 1893 that our India has got freedom, because it was not only from Swami Vivekananda, but it was the voice of India, which was created in the USA, in the America in 1893. My brothers and sisters of the America, these two words are not only the words that we speak, but these words are the great demonstration of our energy. These two words shows the oneness, equality, greatness and unity, union of our soul with the supernatural power of God or Lord. These two things that we have inside the body, that was displayed and demonstrated by Swami Vivekananda, expressed in that religious hall, when the whole hall was filled with the vibrations and ray of light and with the insight, with the knowledge, then that religious conference became the great storehouse of the light. That light we feel from the sun, from the rising sun, we feel energy, light, vibration, but the sun is expressed daily. The sun is expressing daily. We can take the example, we can see the picture and glimpse of Swami Vivekananda through the sun. This is the one sun which is alone, but it addresses the great message. How one cannot change the world, because the one rising sun can create the light in the whole world. It creates energy, it starts vibrations, it starts providing everlasting soothing effect of our mind and heart. But dear brothers and sisters, Swami Vivekananda, the stars, these are only the 1% in front of them. 99% you will feel inside your body when you will close your eyes of your mind, will close your ears. In the form of unread, unspoken, unwritten, unlearned, you will feel numberless stars, numberless suns, numberless moons inside your body, and it is the greatest experience. It was the great experiment of our social reformist scientists, discoverers, astronomers, astrologers, those who came first on this land, being a starter, beginner, initiator. And they wrote, expressed, appealed, advocated, treated different type of actions, but they were not the writers. No doubt every writing is attached with them. Every word that we read, it is attached and associated with them. They were the true closer, and they felt the real friendliness with the truth of God. And this was the truth which was practiced and exercised by Mahatma Gandhi. That's why we learn the principle of the truth and non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi, who was strongly favored in the truth and non-violence, and he spent his life with the truth. So he wrote in his book, with the truth. The truth is the basic yuga, age, which is the first classification of the word or time. By the truth, a man will get the renunciation, a man will get the unification of the soul with the super spiritual power of God. Practitioner, experienced, experimented person of the truth feels that he has the oneness with the truth. Dear brothers, sisters and friends, you know that one is that we say that true is, second it was Treta Yug, then Dwapar Yug, then Kali Yug, dark age. This is the age. And how we can feel the presence of Lord in the dark age, can it be possible or not? As per the Hindu mythology, Hindu dynasty, we believe that there are 4 classifications. When we reach at the first stage, initiation, in the beginner, starter, initiator, those who have invented and innovated different skills, Indian cultural values and spiritual values that we have invented, Google, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, software programs, online programs we are enjoying at home. This is all the result of our spiritual, cultural, social, economical, political values of our nation. This is the result of them. So why do we forget this thing that we cannot attach and disattach, associate and disassociate, focus and defocus? It can become possible. You are studying medical, non-medical, commerce, arts, but the basic principles of our lifestyle are the same. Our fundamentals are the same. Initially and ultimately we know these things, and we must remember by doing the practicals. Through the electronology, digitology and technology, we are trying to understand the internal world. How much research we can do? We are doing research. We are under research. We was researching. We were researching. We will do research. We will research in the future. No doubt. This is the unrelenting, unceasing, unstopping process. God, who has made us humble, polite, humanistic, sympathetic, compassionistic, why do we forget Him? We must remember, gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's the right time, right place, right opportunity that God has provided us in this form We are to eradicate and uproot these evils from the society, from our nation. We are to make our generation healthy, holistic approach. We are to provide our nation and society. Dear friends, when we feel astonished and surprised, why different type of technologies at home through the online programs? If technologies are so advanced, so powerful, so speedy, that these can transform the information, we can communicate easily. How is the word, internal word? Who is the maker of these communications? Who is the maker of our speaking, reading, writing, listening, learning English and any language? Who is the maker of this mind? How is the maker of this mind? Why is the maker of this mind? When is the maker of this mind? Why these questions do not raise in our mind? These are the true questions that should be raised in our mind for knowing the truth of science and spirituality. When we try to search, research, create and recreate, operate and reoperate, develop and redevelop our nation, society, family, personally, professionally, we should not take rest. It is strongly proclaimed in England. Wordsworth, his name is addresses a lot of masses because he felt worth, preciousness in his name. His name, word. His name was word. So Wordsworth says that and all over the world, in the different universities, different scholars are studying. In Harvard University, Cambridge, Oxford, Pennsylvania, in different universities, scholars are studying. They are trying to get unreached and unchangeable. So how it can become possible for us, which is impossible? Impossible itself says, I am possible. We have got freedom from the power of God or Lord, who has made us, created us. So this was strongly proclaimed, appealed, addressed, advocated by William Wordsworth by saying that a child is the father of man. How a child can become a father of man? It looks surprising. Because a child is the judge of the parents. A child, a student is the judge of a teacher. A patient is the judge of a doctor. A disciple is the judge of a teacher, spiritual father. A customer is the judge of a shopkeeper. Likely that, dear brother, we are to understand this concept. A child is the father of man, because a child has experienced the internal world which was associated with him or her inside the womb of mother. Womb to tomb, he or she inside the womb of mother, he knows the history. He knows the past, present and future of both the father and mother. So it is rightly said that fatherhood is more important than father. Motherhood is more important than mother. Sportsmanship is more important than sports. Studentship is more important than student. Because these words, ship and hood, working as showing the emotions, passions, feelings of our heart. But when we talk the spirituality, that is speech. Dear friends, what is written by William Wordsworth while having the presence of nature, he says to her sister that, sister, this nature never beat, defeat, cheat, deceive, but it is a friend. It is very friendly and familiar with us. We are to spend maximum time with nature. And even beyond to it, he says that this is only the nature. This is only the nature which will make you feel familiar. Means you don't mind if you have family or not, but a true family you have in the form of nature. So Dorothy Richardson, who was his sister, he addressed to her sister and remained close to nature all life. Whole life he passed with nature. So dear friends, brothers and sisters, environmentally, atmospherically, we are to keep our nation, our surroundings neat and clean by cleanliness. And it is right that cleanliness is next to the God. It is rightly said, for the external cleaning, if we keep our 5 elements clean, if every man will be able to feel the presence of Lord in the form of nature and natural elements, definitely he will keep clean the whole universe. Externally, above it, you will feel a great presence of Lord inside these 5 elements. This is the composition of 5 elements. Our human body is made by 5 elements, and in the we have the nature of our nature. How is the nature of our mind? How is the nature of our heart? How is the nature of our lungs, kidney, intestine, bones, blood, brain? Everything you will know. You will become the doctor of, and it is rightly said in physiotherapy, in naturopathy. What is said? It is rightly said that 90% you are the doctor of your body, and you can fight against the diseases. At home, you can maintain your routine, your daily life, you can maintain. You can create your personal interest. You can create your own, your personal schedule at home, and you know how to prepare tea, food, how to be an engineer at home, how to be a doctor at home, how to be a minister at home, how to be an advocate at home. It can become possible. And by the internal organs it is leveled. Our mind is the true advocate. If we are healthy by thought, then our mind becomes an advocate. If we are true by the heart, then we becomes a doctor. So likely that it can be felt and perceived only by residing the presence of Lord, 100% presence of mind at home, while doing meditation, while living alone. Being alone, you are not alone, because the presence of Lord is always with you. So don't mind, don't feel astonished while watching the external world, because the external world has come from inside. We feel inferior back when we take the energy from out to in, but its direction is in to out. How the God has created a wonderful universe, colorful world. We visit different type of hospitals, markets, agriculture, industry, education, transportation, different type of services we are enjoying outwardly, and we feel surprised. No doubt these are surprisable, but the most surprisable thing that is inside your mind, inside your heart, above it, inside your soul. Created to free, but it is in shackles. It is rightly said that our soul has come on this earth to get the freedom, and we must understand the flight of soul. We know only the flight of our mind by enjoying different means of communication, means of transportation. We try to use them. We have become just the user and consumer, but we are not the true investor. We are not the true observer, examiner. We are not the true evaluator of our soul. How we can become? How we can become? Dear brothers, friends, sisters, all of you, you have to understand the story of Prahlad, who was in his childhood, but he got a lot of energy from the Lord, and he felt enlightened, challenged and faced these circumstances. How the mother's womb, enlightened by the light of that Lord inside the womb. This happened in many wombs of the mothers, because this land has created the starter of Sikhism, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, starter of Dera Sacha Soda, Shyam Astana Ji Maharaj, Shenshah ke Shenshah Shyam Astana Ji Maharaj, Lord Krishna, Lord Shri Ramchandra, Hazrat Muhammad Sahib, Jesus Christ. They came in the womb of mother, and they enlightened, they lighted, created, vibrated, activated in the womb of mother, in the form of presence of Lord. Because they came in this world in the form of genes. In spiritual science, genes also has importance. In the chapter of the Genesis, you will study it. As per the study of the Bible, you will know this thing, that we are the result of genes. And these genes are very similar with the spiritual standard values of our starters, beginners, initiators. And these are studied by the observers, examiners, forefathers, foretellers, old age people, those who live in our society. They easily can understand whose father, whose mother, whose sister we are. They easily understand these things as per their experiences. So their experiences are collected and registered in their mind in the form of energy. So we are to get rid from the sensual pleasure, falsification, lust, ego, negativities, never criticize others, never backbite. These are not the good human values. We are to make, create, adopt the lifestyle of our natural living, natural life living style, and spontaneous overflow of our powerful feelings creates oneness, simplicity, stability and unity in our all internal organs of the human body. It is rightly observed by our true examiners, true researchers, true doctors, true engineers, true ministers, how they can feel. They can generate and regenerate our nation. It can become possible. But how we can become selfless? How we can become free from desires? If we have desire, if we have become selfish, how we can get rid from the luxuries and comfortabilities? No doubt if we are comfortable, we are to admire, praise, appreciate the Lord. Definitely we are to praise the Lord. But we don't disrespect in the form of discomfortabilities. We are not to feel pain, because it is rightly said in English literature, no pain, no gain. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, who was the greatest experienced person of these things, and he who was the Lord, he who was the God incarnation, came on this earth and strongly addressed the whole world that God does with me, God resides with me in the form of air, fire, soil, sky and water. What a word he used for him. He is only the statue of 5 elements, nothing else. He told it that God created himself in the form of light. And then later on he created 84 lakh species. Then this light started, vibrated, activated. In 1469, in 1469, he came on this earth. In that womb of mother, he came, enlightened the womb by the super spiritual energy, unrelenting, unceasing, unstopping power of Lord was with him. So dear friends, everyone can change himself. It is the freedom. Now our India has got freedom, and our soul has got freedom in 1948 while coming by Prof.Saint Maharaj on this land, and he addressed the true bargain, true taking and giving, exchanging of information, exchanging of your vibrations internally when you think good for others. Saint Kabir, who came on this earth, brought up by Mohammedans, but he proved that he is the true son of the motherland by saying that a criticizer, backbiter, abuser we must have, because by his satanic power he has become the free cleaner of our soul. He is cleaning us without taking soap or water. It means it was his most spiritualistic idea behind these words that was used by Saint Kabir. Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, बेप्रवाहों के बेपरवाह शहंशाहों के शहंशाह श्याम स्थाना जी महाराज also addressed the same thing by saying that, dear brothers, friends and sisters, you are listening the truth of the who came on this earth. He told to the people that, amen, if you want to interview, if you want to get the true visiting journey, traveling, then you must interact with the super spiritual power of God inside. God has created on this earth. If we have any inferiority, shortcomings, faults, withdrawals, it doesn't matter. Have always national, cosmopolitan outlook, international outlook. Being a true citizen of the nation, we must feel this thing that I love my nation without hating with another country, without hating with another nation. Then our true spirit will generate in the soil, fire, soil, sky, water, air, fire, soil, sky and water, will get the true spirit by going away from the national prejudices. When you will go through the essays of Oliver Goldsmith, you know this thing. When you will read Robert Frost's poem, A Soldier, how should be a soldier? Because they were the true nationalistic and patriotistic person, those who were the freedom fighter. We can take the example of Israel. Our present Prime Minister Pr.Dr.RKModi Modi has visited that nation, and the Prime Minister of that nation also has visited our nation many times. That is very less populous country, but every person is a soldier of that nation because of their close association with the nature. They have become the true nationalistic, patriotistic and citizen for their nation. Not only for their nation, but they have become resourceful person of the world. So it is not prejudice. It is a cosmopolitan outlook. It is an international outlook. So all over the world, those who are observing, examining prime ministers, presidents of the different nations, I strongly address, I appeal to them, I advocate this thing that they must spend their maximum time with nature. If they are natural, like the Japanese, those who are very close with nature, they observe the changes in the nature very closely, and they are very friendly with air, fire, soil, sky and water, and they feel the presence of Lord in the open sky, in the open ocean, in the open earth. So dear friends, brothers, sisters, God has given us a different nation, different country which has unity in diversity, universally, physically, geographically, north to south, east to west. We have all kind of climate, culture. Don't be preoccupied, don't be prejudiced, confined with limited area, but you are to make your mind broad. It's the result of our broad thinking. We must visit physically. If it is impossible, then we must feel physically, we must think physically that we have unity and diversity at every level. For addressing the worldly people, for pacifying the worldly people, our India has generated, created, operated, developed Google starters, YouTubers, Instagram starters, different social sites that we are enjoying. How we are getting the knowledge from the situation, action, position, by the reversal style of thinking. If one way we leave our ego, we become humble and polite, then external world try to teach us something. External natural elements teach us like a teacher, treats us like a doctor, nurtures us like a mother. But we are to believe in not my, but in place of my, you are to use your. We are to use your. When I will convert in you, when my will convert into your, I will convert into you, my will convert into your, then you will know the true magic, music, majestic power of the word. Dear brother, sisters, scholar learners, university scholars, professionals, professors, teachers and trainers. If you want to know the true power of the word, then you must use I. I means not only one. In English, I means not only one. It's the inventive language. I means you are the representative of your nation, and you are the composition of five elements: air, fire, soil, sky and water. Like a soldier, which was written by Robert Frost, you will read in English literature. This thing you will find. And if you speak you means not only for the one person, but for all the external world. I is the symbol of impression internally, and you is the symbol of externally expressions. My is the symbol of our internal possession, and your is the symbol of external devotion and dedication. So by the true devotion, dedication for our motherland, for being a true nationalistic, spiritualistic person, we must feel the presence of Lord in the form of nature. When we are in the ocean, on the nature, on the earth, in the sky, in air, fire, soil, sky, water, we must feel the presence of Lord. It is not a thing, but it is the most inventive and innovative thing. If we are practically prepared for doing something greater, finer, nicer for our society, family, nation, our nation will uplift. Our youngster, our old-aged people will address the whole world while becoming minister, doctor, saint, soldier, free thinkers, messengers. This Indian land is the enriched land, the most enriched land of the world. And then worldly people get the address. They get the inspiration, motivation, encouragement from our land. So we are not lagging behind in technology, because all the technologies and techniques that are the most costlier, most prized things beyond to materialistic things, beyond to substantial things, are our tricks and techniques that we use while sitting in any competition. One competition which is going on between the different nations, among the different nations, that is also the competition and conflict, confrontation. That is also led by, and will lead by our present Prime Minister Fr.Dr.RKModi Modi ji, because of spiritual standard of our nation. And we can pacify, we can control the whole world by our true voice of our nationalistic and spiritualistic, our personalities, those who are totally devoted, dedicated for the worldly peace, tranquility of our heart. They will address the value of nature, atmosphere, environment. Then they will not pollute the environment. They are not caring about the development. They are just trying to destroying, spoiling, damaging. How the creation gets the time to create? It takes a long time, 1,000 years, hundreds of years it has taken in formation, but these are declined, these are destroyed in few minutes, few seconds. just by hateful nature. And it is rightly said that hate begets hate anon. Hater burned himself alone. Hater burned himself alone. So why do we not? Love begets love. Why do you not believe in it? It is rightly said that love is God, God is love. But we do not concentrate upon these things. We are running after winning, false winning, not the true winning. If we want to be a true winner, then we must get victory over evils. As we celebrate Deepavali, this is the festival of good over evil. And why will we celebrate it? Because of the victory of the truth, the victory of meditation, method of meditation, we celebrate it. How the Lord Rama proved it. Today we are celebrating Ramanavami and we salute with bowing the head by saying that Namaste. And Namaste was predicted, advocated, advertised, administered by our present Prime Minister Fr.Dr.RKModi Modi ji to the Americans, English people, by saying Namaste India. Modism. Through the Modism, it was created in the foreign land. When they people, outsiders, know the value of Namaste through the intellectual, emotional, spiritual power of this Indian land, they knew the spiritual standard of this land. What does the mean of Namaste? Means politeness, humbleness. How many times we use this word? When do we use this word? We must think on it. Then we will know. Then we will know the value of hello on our mobile. We use hello. From where this word has come? This word has come from Christianity, from the Holy Bible. And we are time and again repeat this word. But we do not research on the word. This hello has come from the universal and fundamental voice. This is the universal and fundamental voice. If we use hello, that hello is not for interacting outwardly and externally, but that is the hello inside the soul to God. That is the true meaning of hello. If we speak Namaste, this Namaste, Namaskar is not for the external people, but we are showing politeness, humbleness of our soul to God. So worldly people, dear brother and sister, dear friends, we must know these things. We must understand the true spiritualistic values of our holy words, of our holy land, from the holy places. Dear brother and sisters, for making our heart holy, for making our body holy, for bringing sanctity and sacredness, our ministries of medical, non-medical, engineering, commerce, arts, all are the believers, followers, staunch believers of the optimism. We have hope against hope. We have hopes for the future. We think for the better, nicer and finer, because we feel the light in the darkness. If we have dark around us, how we can create the light in the dark. This is the work of our Indian followers, believers. By doing true actions. One action is the internal action of thought. Second action is external action that brings revolutionary, visionary change in the world. All the holy scriptures that we read are covered with words. Indirectly, we read, we observe the rays of light and wave of sound, vibrations. Someone is inside us. One reading, speaking, listening, writing inside us without pen and paper. We are to research on humanity. Then we feel that these are unresearched things. What's the difference between discovery and research? As we read that Vasco da Gama, who came in India in 1498, he discovered our nation, and Columbus, who discovered the America. These are the greatest discoveries in the world. But these are discoveries, not the inventions and research. Invention is that which is the artifact, which is the artistically performed actions of the man in doing something critical, something creative. That is the form of invention. What's the meaning of research? What's the difference between search and research? Search means we are going back, we are looking back. We are looking back from the innovative and inventive way. That is the form of research. Research never tells us copying, stealing, imitating, but on some extent we can say imagining. Research is the true research of soul power, self-confidence. Re-word is most probably used by Swami Vivekananda, and he addressed that return to the Vedas, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, Hindu dynasty that was created in the return to your childhood, return to your nature. If you want to go very, very deep sleep point, if you want to get truthfulness, peace and prosperity of your mind and heart, you must associate with nature. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who was the first Prime Minister of India, he wrote in the Discovery of India that our present lies in the past. We must go through the scriptures, holy scriptures of our Indian land. We must go through the holy rivers of our Indian land. How pious and holy water our Indian rivers has. We are to feel the spirit or soul of our Indian land. Then we will know the value of Brahmanism. What does the Brahmanism can create, recreate? It rehealed, rejuvenated, rehabilitated. So brothers and sisters, friends, we must go through these holy scriptures as well. The books that were written by our personalities, the discovery of India, experiment with the truth. As well, you are to write experience with the truth from our present Prime Minister. Hello, brothers and sisters. How are you? Hello, friends. How are you? Sentence in English we use how are you, and without using any another word, the same sentence, by replacing the word, by interchanging the place of the word, we can say how you are. This is the reply, and this says that every sentence is complete in itself, every word is complete in itself, perfect. Likely that man has all powers inside the human body. Man himself is the form of male and female. Man himself is the form of all genders. Man himself is the form of Lord and God. Man himself is everything. We must know the value of man through the words, through the ray of light in the form of knowledge, wisdom that is being provided by our internal spiritual light. Sometimes we think, we speak that who are you? In response of that, someone say who you are. Who are you? Who you are. It's just we are changing the place of the word. But question itself contains the answer. What is this? In reply of this question, we say what this is. Question word in the sentence takes the same place. We can understand the value of question, and question means the mind. Mind remains the same in past, present and future when it thinks about the Lord, or by the mind we are known by man. So we can know the presence and permanency of the mind in the man through the sentence. Other grammatical parts of speech, like we use auxiliaries, helping verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, that we use, that as the part of changeable grammar, that are used in functional and structural changeable grammar, because they change their place in the sentence and they change their meaning by changing the place. The whole sentence, what does it say? What is your name? If someone asks from us, what is your name? Indirectly, in English, he is asking his name from him. He is asking his name from himself. What is his name? What his name is. What his name is. The answer of that, what is his name? Where are you? Where you are? Who is he? Who is he? Who he is? Who is she? Who she is? So dear brothers and sisters, friends, we must understand the self-learning process. This self-learning process is the great process, and that can be attuned as Eklavya got education from Dronacharya and he got victory and he competed Arjuna. We read Arjuna and he was not speedy than Eklavya. His name Eklavya, who was the strongest believer of the idolatry. Like Swami Vivekananda, first few years of his lifetime he spent in idolatry. He was a strong believer of audio and video. Then ultimately he left all these things. When he went outside the America, while communicating and interviewing with his Lord God Ramakrishna Paramahans, then he went to the USA and thought that I will feel the presence of Lord in the form of air, fire, soil, sky and water. Then there is no need of any figure, size, shape, idols. Ultimately, this happened also with Beprava Mastanaji Maharaj. Beprava Shanshaho ke Shansha Shah Mastanaji Maharaj, initially he was the staunch believer of the idolatry. But when he re-enlightened, reunited, rejuvenated, then he left all these practices and exercises conducting with the figure, size, shape and other forms of the God in the form of idols. Then he became the true believer of sizeless form of God. Sizeless, shapeless, formless, figureless, colorless, unread, unspoken, incomparative, unbearable, unfavorable, matchless. These words became common for them ultimately. So dear friends, everyone who has come on this earth in the form